The story of Mapp versus Ohio begins in May 1957 in Cleveland, Ohio. 3 police officers arrived at the home of Dollree Mapp, acting on a tip that a fugitive was hiding inside. Mapp refused entry without a search warrant and placed a call to her attorney. The officers then put her house under surveillance. 3 hours later, 4 more officers arrived. They forced open the door and entered. When Mapp demanded a warrant, an officer showed her a piece of paper, which she snatched and hid. After a scuffle, officers recovered the paper, handcuffed Mapp, and denied her attorney access.
The police searched the entire residence, but never found the fugitive. Instead, they discovered materials they deemed obscene. Dollree Mapp was charged and convicted of possessing these materials, a violation of an Ohio statute.
During Mapp's trial, the state produced no search warrant. Despite this, she was convicted. The Ohio Supreme Court upheld the conviction, acknowledging the evidence was illegally seized but permissible under state law at the time. Mapp appealed her case to the U.S. Supreme Court.
The central question in Mapp versus Ohio was whether illegally seized evidence can be used in court. The case hinged on the exclusionary rule, which states that evidence seized in violation of a person's constitutional rights cannot be used against them. This relates to the Fourth Amendment.
Before Mapp versus Ohio, the nation had 2 standards of justice. In federal courts, the exclusionary rule applied, but in many state courts, following Wolf versus Colorado, illegally seized evidence was still admissible.
In a landmark 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court ended this double standard. The court ruled that the exclusionary rule is now applied to the states through the 14th Amendment. Evidence obtained through an illegal search is inadmissible in state courts.
The rationale for the ruling rested on 3 pillars. The right to privacy is essential. The exclusionary rule is necessary to enforce the Fourth Amendment, and state and federal obligations must be aligned to ensure constitutional rights are upheld.
Justice Tom C. Clark summarized the ruling, stating, "In other words, privacy without the exclusionary rule would be a hollow right."
He further emphasized the importance of observing constitutional laws, stating, "The criminal goes free if he must, but it is the law that sets him free. Nothing can destroy a government more quickly than its failure to observe its own laws."
The dissenting view, written by Justice John Marshall Harlan, questioned the constitutionality of the federal exclusionary rule itself. He argued that states should create their own remedies based on principles of federalism, rather than having a single federal rule imposed.
The enduring legacy of Mapp versus Ohio, decided in 1961, includes banning illegally seized evidence from all state courts, strengthening Fourth Amendment protections, and establishing a cornerstone of modern criminal procedure and police conduct standards.
Historically, before Mapp, many states allowed illegally obtained evidence, exposing unchecked warrantless searches. Today, this case remains vital for understanding constitutional protections against unreasonable searches in modern policing. Consider the question: how did police practices in the 1950s lead to the Supreme Court's decision in Mapp versus Ohio?
The court's decision applied the exclusionary rule to the states for the first time. Modern debates about police accountability, body cameras, and unlawful searches still hinge on this rule. Next, let's consider, why was the exclusionary rule such a controversial but transformative principle in 1961?
The ruling signaled a shift toward expanding civil liberties and limiting government overreach during the Warren Court era. This balance is still debated in cases involving surveillance technology and digital privacy. Here is another key question. How did Mapp versus Ohio reshape the balance of power between law enforcement and individual rights?
After 1961, police departments nationwide had to change training and procedures to comply with constitutional standards. Viewers can connect this to current requirements for warrants, evidence handling, and constitutional compliance. A relevant question for today is, in what ways does Mapp versus Ohio influence modern criminal trials and police procedures? The case was rooted in the physical search of homes, a core Fourth Amendment concern. This question bridges the past and present by asking if Mapp's principles apply to modern digital searches and surveillance. Finally, consider, does Mapp versus Ohio still protect citizens effectively in an age of digital searches and surveillance?